Hello, you're welcome. You're welcome onto my channel today, and it gives me great joy to observe you are viewing this video. I'm Professor Olayinka Akinsola. I'm a lecturer in the university. On this channel, I do a number of stuff, but all I do on this channel, sociology and research are very central to them. Meanwhile, if you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly go ahead and click subscribe on your screen right now to subscribe to this channel to join my family of subscribers. Today, the video today is on Akinsola Akiwowo's Asuwada, Theory of Sociation. This is a very important epistemic intervention, theoretical intervention from the perspective of sociology. And the best way to begin this is to look at this as intervention to popularize, to push for indigenous sociology, for indigenous theorizing, for, incorporation of indigenous knowledge system in sociological knowledge production, for decolonial sociology, to be able to push for the need for more indigenous content in making sociology more relevant, begins the belief that sociology from the North, as given originally, lacks the capacity to theorize for the understanding of African social relation or African social system. So this is within the broader framework of epistemic intervention to provide alternative way of looking at social world, especially from Africa. So you look at it from the colonial sociology, indigenous knowledge system, alternative epistemologies in terms of social relations understanding, the colonial sociology. This is very important. Akinsola Akiwowo was a professor of sociology in University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University in Nigeria. And he pushed it to the front burner during his inaugural lecture in the late 1980s. So, and we have decided to be teaching this as there have been much intellectual vexation on the need for more indigenization of knowledge production in Africa, decolonizing knowledge system in Africa. I've done a lot of work in this area. Professor Jimmy Adeshino, I've done something about teaching Yoruba, teaching sociology in the vernacular, incorporating indigenous knowledge into teaching sociology. Said Alatas have done this a lot in Latin America or Asia, broadly speaking. So now, having given this background, you cannot see the Akiwowo's Asuwada Theory of Sociation was deeply rooted in the Ifa belief system. Ifa belief system is like a traditional belief system, through which Ifa adherents make sense of the social world. This theory of association, Asuwada, has strong background in Ifa literature. Ifa definition. Don't forget I said Ifa is a belief system among the Yoruba of southwestern Nigeria. So through this, Akiwowo tried to give contextualization of theory, creating theoretical nuances. For us to be able to understand how human beings behave, how they organize, how they relate, through what I call sociology from below. Looking at the Yoruba worldview, which is deeply penetrating across Africans' way of life, to understanding African cosmology, African environment, African social system, and African total being. Looking at it from African social experience as a way of understanding Africans' way of life. They cannot divorce culture from the people's worldview in terms of social relations. And this, as what a theory of association by Akiwowo, was deeply embedded in social and kinship system of the Africans. And deeply rooted also in the Oromela's perspective. Oromela is a major deity, as a messenger of God through which human beings can learn from the mindset of God. So Oromela is a deity. So this Ifa divination, Ifa oratory, Ifa belief system have a number of deities, and Oromela is a major one of them. So this Akiwowo Association took a lot from the Ifa as a source of sociological knowledge production. And against this background, there are key concepts for you to know. Don't forget there's a video on this channel which I call best ways to understand theory. So having given this contextual background, a little bit of historiography of Akiwowo himself, now let's look at some of the key concepts of this theory. So a major one is the Asuwada. Asuwada itself, in terms of Asuwada meaning from each a deep root in Yoruba oral poetry. Asuwada ènìyàn talks about human society. Human society coming together of people to achieve a common goal. Asuwada ènìyàn. Human society coming together of human beings in society for a common goal. Now, what is this common goal? Human beings come together to achieve per time. It's shifting depending on the society in question. Depending. So this is what some people will call motive. Goal. Max Weber described this as motive in his social action theory. So the motive of people for coming together, the goal they want to achieve, will pull them together. And coming together of people will determine their behavior. And this is what Akiwowo calls Asuwada ènìyàn. And this is central. This Asuwada ènìyàn will then determine how people relate based on the common goal. This pulls people together. And it's because this forms a society. For this Akiwowo Association, meaning that people have reasons for forming society per time. So this Asuwada ènìyàn, that's how we call it Akiwowo's Asuwada theory of Sociation. So this Asuwada is central, meaning human society coming together of people in society for a common goal, from Yoruba poetry. And this Asuwada ènìyàn comes from what we call Ayajo Asuwada, from the Orumila's perspective. Ayajo Asuwada, that is oratory, divination of Asuwada. So from Ifasu, and another key concept is Ihuwasi, how people behave, human behavior, human interaction. So human behavior is central to Asuwada's theory of association. So it's to explain human behavior. And it said this Ihuwasi, how people behave, how they interact, determines the consequences of their actions, the trajectory of their action. So human behavior is what we have to pay attention to. And don't forget I said this Asuwada theory of association is deeply rooted in kinship system and social system. Kinship is based on blood and marriage. Social network means other relationships that are not based on marriage and blood. Can be neighborliness. And this is very important. Ajobi is a key concept in this theory, talking about kinship. People that were born together, literally, kinship system. Then Ajogbe, neighborliness. That means people can come together to relate within the framework of kinship system and social network system. Social network system and kinship network system. So you can categorize people's behavior along kinship and social networks. And this will determine on who is relating, how they are relating, and why they are relating by time. If it's kinship system, that's why people say blood is thicker than water. And this is subject to argument anyway, but we expect that people of the same kinship will behave in certain ways. Just like people based on social networks will behave in certain ways. Another key concept is the concept of omoluabi, behaving properly with respect for others, with respect for social value. The omoluabis tend to behave in a way that conforms with social expectation. Alajobi means people that were in the same kinship system. Alajogbe means people based on social networks or living together in the same neighborhood. This Alajobi, there are expectations you have for your social networks different from Alajobi expectations, social expectations, people you share kinship networks people. But when people in the same kinship system misbehave or behave in a way unexpected of them, they are considered as Alajogbe. And when there's so much expectation and respect for kinship, Alajobi, and a closed system in terms of relationship. But Alajogbe, a neighbor. Sometimes there are things neighbors will do, or kinship, or people in your social networks, friends, and the rest of them, colleagues, that you don't take so seriously, compare to Alajobi. But when the Alajobi, the kinship system, brother, sister, wives, husband, in-laws, disappoint or behave in a way unexpected of them, that's why Yoruba will say, kò sí alájọbí mọ́, alájọgbé ló wà. That is, there's a disappointment from this person who is in my kinship networks. That means just literally, just like an unknown person, a social person, social networks person. So the kinship system and social system and social network system are based on expectation. The implication of this is that they determine how people are expected to behave. So Alajobi and Alajogbe are very key in understanding Asuwada, theory of association. alájọbí, alájọgbé, ìhùwàsí, Asuwada, ọmọlúàbí, ọmọ búburú. So when people behave in a way that is against the norms and values of society, deviance, they are regarded as ọmọ búburú. And we must not have many ọmọ búburús in society. We should have more ọmọlúàbís who behave in a way expected of their social system, of their society, upholding the values of society. Important point that I want to mention, there are key values that hold society together, that determines whether people will become ọmọlúàbí or ọmọ búburú, and that will determine what keep people in check to behave in a way that holds society together. And these values are 5 positive and 5 negative. So when people do not want the negative values to happen to them, they behave as a ọmọlúàbí. So the ọmọlúàbí avoids negative value and benefit from positive value. Control system, if you like. But ọmọ búburú does not care, but he will reap the reward of negative values. And nobody wants to reap this. So people behave in a normal way, in a conforming way, in a way that maintains social order. So the values of positive values encourage people to behave in a way that is not inimical to society as a reward. And negative values prevent people from becoming antisocial. So whether you want positive value, you become ọmọlúàbí. If you don't want to reap negative value, you keep to ọmọlúàbí in your ìhùwàsí, so that the Asuwada can hold society together. But ọmọ búburú will reap negative values. This can keep them from becoming ọmọ búburú, or they remain ọmọ búburú and reap negative value. So reward and reinforcement. Negative value is sanction. Positive value is reward to reinforce positive behavior. What are these positive values? Number 1, ire àìkú, ire àìkú is a reward that will be of benefit to ọmọlúàbí. So what ire àìkú means? The gift of longevity. People ọmọlúàbí will reap longevity, will live long. Then you have ire ọmọ. Ire ọmọ means the gift, the value of parenthood. The person will be fruitful and will multiply, will have good children. Then you have ire owó, financial blessing. Ire owó, prosperity, wealth. That's the value of wealth. Ire owó. Don't forget I mentioned ire àìkú. Ọmọlúàbí, people with good ìhùwàsí will reap positive value of longevity, long life. They will not die young. Will reap ire owó, value of prosperity. Will reap ire aya. Ire aya is value of love, value of intimacy. That's ire aya. You have ire àìkú, ire owó, ire aya. 3 values now, which means value of love, value of intimacy. You have ire ọmọ, value of parenthood, good children. Then you have the 5th one, ire ìborí ọ̀tá, ire àborí ọ̀tá, which is value of victory. Value of victory that will overcome the enemies. So these 5 values are very important. Ire àìkú, ire owó, ire aya, ire ọmọ, ire àborí ọ̀tá. These are rewards for reinforcing ọmọlúàbí, for society to be together. There are negative values. There are negative values that people must avoid for society to be together, which will befall ọmọ búburú. Negative values are ikú, premature death. Any ọmọ búburú will reap premature death. Value of àrùn, àìsàn, illness will befall ọmọ búburú. Ìjà. The value of ìjà, that's the value of fight. Ọmọ búburú will always receive fight. Sword will not cease in the camp of ọmọ búburú. Then you have the value of poverty. Ire àìní, àìní owó, àìní ajé will befall the person. Ọmọ búburú, that is àìní will befall the person. Àìní ajé, àìní owó before the person. Poverty will befall the person. So àìní is poverty. Then you have the òfò, value of òfò. Òfò will be the person will be suffering losses. the value of loss will be for the person. These 5 negative values are central to Akiwowo's theory of association. So to have good association in society, people must avoid negative values and hold on to positive values. And when people come together with positive values, there will be unity, harmony, progress, and a social order, social equilibrium. This brings people together. But when you have more of negative values, you have omobuburu, and this is dangerous to association in society. So this is a way Africans organize themselves in their social experiences. And for Akiwowo, this is a better way to understand African social system rather than northern Western theories that are propounded overseas. And these Western values theories can never sufficiently explain African social processes and human behaviors. So indigenizing knowledge involves looking at African social narratives, social system, and bring out theories that are indigenous to be able to understand Africans' way of life. Wow, I love this video. Till I see you in my next video, kindly click subscribe. Bye for now.